Good morning and welcome to Books and Blogs on Life and Style. My name is Catherine Mwangi. Thank you for watching today, this special Hot Monday. We are here at 4 Points by Sheraton, beautiful place. Make a point to visit whether you're coming in or out of the country. It's located inside the airport. Thank you to the management for hosting us. Our book review today is The Year of Yes, and I'm joined by yes women.
Yeah.
I'm joined by women, yes women, hashtag. Yvonne is a PR consultant, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. And Julie, my former colleague who's left us. Where did you go when you left us? Conversation Africa.
I had to travel the world.
Girl.
Not
Oh,
quite.
you said yes to travel.
Yes, to travel. No, I work for a news website. It's called The Conversation Africa.
Yes. Okay.
I'm an editor.
Good stuff. So you left us, why? But you know you should be doing this show.
I should be?
Yeah.
I should just come and just say, I want Catherine's job, and I think I can do it.
Yeah, especially this particular one. Let's test you today. We change roles.
Okay.
Today, this one.
All right.
Yeah. Over to you. Hands off.
I'm
We
trying
go.
to-
We go.
We go. I'm trying to remember. Did I read the book? Yes, I did.
Of course you did. So,
Okay.
I have handed over the reins to Julie.
Oh my good lord. Okay. Yeah. Yes. We all said that we liked it. I did.
Well, I liked it too.
I didn't.
Catherine, you said you liked it. Well, I'll start. I liked it.
Okay.
Because it sounded like being in Shonda Rhimes' head, like a
Yeah.
fly on the wall. Like the way
Yeah.
she constructs her sentences and the jokes that she cracks are so informal and conversational. You just feel like you're not reading. So I actually read it in about 6 hours, from beginning to end. The font was big. I love big font.
Okay.
And then I looked at the pictures, and I kind of like, I enjoyed the whole ambience that she created. Very casual. You're looking at me like, what did you think?
No, it's your show. I'm waiting for you to ask me what I think.
What did you think about the book? Go ahead now.
The things you have said are actually the things that irritated me.
The
Really?
big font?
Not the big font.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow.
And the color of the book.
Not the color, not the font, not the color. The tone. Again, it's the tone.
What was wrong with the tone?
I just kind of felt like, she was overdoing it. Like she's funny. The book is funny. Okay, I'll give her that. I think, at least give me that. The book is very funny. But then at some points I kind of felt like she was really trying too hard, like super really hard. And then she was digressing. So I'm here, we're walking, and then the next thing she has introduced her story. Then I have to follow that story, and then I have to come back again, and then.
What are you talking
But I
about?
liked that about it.
You
because
did?
Yeah, because it just doesn't. If you know Shonda and if you know how creative as a person she is,
Catherine, if you know
I
Shonda,
saw-
if you don't know people, just
I
keep quiet.
saw that. I saw Grace in it. I saw Scandal in it, and I was like, she really is the writer for those shows. So for me, it was, first of all, even the way she sets the book is interesting enough for you to read, because you find yourself in page 100 before you realize that. I was like, oh wow, and you go dive and you get to understand where she's coming from. So the whole diversion and where she was taking you, I appreciated that to some extent. So it didn't come off like, where are we going with this story? It came back when you come to understand where she was coming from. It was like, okay, yeah. But it was a beautiful read for me.
Is there anything that you didn't like or you didn't appreciate?
Maybe. No, not really. Yeah, it was an easy, beautiful read for me. Maybe at the point where she might have come off like one of those very strong feminist women.
How about arrogance?
Yeah, she
But
did
that's-
come off a
it's
bit arrogant,
yeah.
but
It's the right kind of arrogance.
Is
it's
the right kind of arrogance?
a
Hers was.
self-affirming type of arrogance.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It's your show. Should I contribute to your point?
yes, you can speak now, Catherine. Go ahead.
That's self-affirming. I'm like, girl, look, I know we have to do these mantras, we have to speak so that, we raise ourselves, encourage ourselves. And then she's an introvert. Remember, you and I are introverts, right? Now, put yourself in those shoes. But when you're done reading that book, did she come off as introvert?
No.
It was the year of yes.
No.
So at the end of her, in fact, it became many years of yes, a
Yeah.
life of yes. She became an ambivert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Introverted,
But
also extroverted.
this, can I speak? This one year of yes. This yes happened over the course of like 1 year, right?
And extended.
Yes.
Yes.
So first you start with, I don't like putting myself out there. I'm an introvert. Things are in my head. I'm like, yeah, actually, actually the work you do, writing scandal grades, private practice, you name it, the work you do, I can understand. Actually, an introvert would best bring it out.
Yeah.
It's all forms of glory and wickedness combined. But then somewhere there now we lose each other. I'm trying to look for this introversion. This I don't like being out there. Even after saying yeses, you're still bringing that point to me, and I'm like, please, let's not lie.
That point stops by like chapter 3.
No.
Yeah.
See,
The moment she went to
she
give her
went to
speech, she was
out of the class. Exactly
Yeah.
after the speech, was it more the
that university
Dartmouth,
house,
Dartmouth,
house, yeah.
Dartmouth.
By the time she was
Yeah.
doing that speech, she was out of the closet completely. She was just a yes woman.
No, what
Yeah.
came first? The
In
Jimmy
fact,
Kimmel
in fact, what
interview
she
or the
said,
speech?
Kimmel,
it was the speech. No, it was the speech
Kimmel
first.
speech.
Yes, and that's the one she was very scared that it would be the first time she'd be in front of multitude
Like
of
10,000, I
people,
think, yeah.
and it's funny the way she kept on saying like I'll poop and die. But then what? Okay, for me, how I chose to relate with it is. Do you know how sometimes you can challenge yourself to say something, and then in the process of doing it, you realize it wasn't as bad as you thought.
Yeah.
So those are my takeouts. Like I was like, okay, so she challenged herself. She's going over and beyond. She's accepting to do this speech.
Yeah.
In her former university, and then halfway in, she now goes in and she rolls and she cracks and she's all motivation, and then she comes back home and she's like, by the way, this thing is not as bad, and then now she's pushed to do something else. Like now she has to go for a live interview, which is also another scary moment for her.
But her publicist, Chris, took forever to convince her to do Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember,
her second yes.
it was her second yes, but she had already challenged herself
With
that
the-
all the things that scare her, that terrify her, she's going to say yes to. And so it just came immediately after the speech. So now this was going to be another test for her. Going on live TV, she didn't. She actually had a recorded. It was recorded. I think they had to come for balance, and then they did that. But it was a milestone. I think so, because being on TV is not an easy thing. Trust me.
You're waiting for a question? What I was going to say is the thing that kind of got me a bit, and I think it would get many women, is how she became so forward and so vocal about her accomplishment. Because every time she would mention something inside me would be like, hey, it's like she's boasting, and I kind of don't like that. But that was the whole idea of the book. So what did you think about like women embracing who they are and what they've done?
Yeah, look, I had no problem with her saying, I've done this, that. The problem is it was stretched. You get, it was like, okay, I already had that. I already know you did scandal. I already know ABC gave you Thursday Night Live. I mean, thank God it's Thursday. But no, the minute now you keep just putting it in, I'm like,
She brought that a lot.
You're pushing it down.
Yeah,
she did
like,
that.
I already heard you. You said it. I respect it. I'm like, wow, man, for a black woman, national broadcaster, biggest economy in the world, doing the things you do. Whoa.
Yeah.
But now if I keep hearing it, it's a kudos. And I think that's why people are like, okay, you're really there's a word, aggrandizement.
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Self-aggrandizing.
Yeah.
You see?
But then if it was a guy who was saying, I've done all these things,
It
did you
will
have the
still
same
have been the same.
reaction?
You just want to puke. Because you're like, okay, really, we heard you.
Let me just tell you, Yvonne, that when we discussed becoming at a point in our lives, Catherine didn't like Michelle Obama for the same reason. But what did you think? Do you think she was bragging or?
She, rightfully so. I'm one of those people who believe that if you have something to brag about, and if it's self-made, why not? If anything, you're the only person to probably brag yourself, if no one else does it. So for me, rightfully so for her to brag and talk about her achievements the way she did. Yes, she might have come off, one too many times as you read the book, and she, first of all, I am such a huge Grey's Anatomy fan, so for me, there's no wrong there. I mean, go girl. And yeah, but then again, rightfully so. I don't think that if you don't celebrate yourself, then who will?
Would you have the same, sorry to take off your shoe, Julie, would you have the same feeling? Assuming I'm just using any name in society, right? Look, give me a name. Julie Kishore, for example. Put Julie there. and she says, I've done this, would you have the same opinion? Would you be saying the same things? Because she's also very well accomplished.
Yes.
She's done amazing things.
That's the thing. I'm saying yes. If you are a person who feels proud about what you've achieved and you're not shy to talk about it, then yes, I will not feel like you're being too braggadocious, so to speak. So for me, yes, if you have accomplished something by day, go forth and celebrate yourself, because it's about these things that you've worked so hard for. And if no one else is going to celebrate you, I might as well do my celebratory dance at the corner of my office. Otherwise, what's the point if I don't celebrate myself?
If you don't do it yourself, then again you have to back it up, right? Because we all know her accomplishments, they're huge. Even Grace alone is huge.
Very.
So if you're bragging for, and you have like one, not to say anything bad about Julie Gishuru, but if you're bragging without
something to back
it up, then you become a bit irritating, which she kind of did at some point, but I understood that she came from being so introverted to saying yes to everything. So now she's trying to reinforce every step that she takes. Another thing I noticed in the book was she's adopted 3 girls.
No, I think one is surrogate.
Yeah,
well, 1 is surrogate.
She didn't push the babies out, is what I meant.
Okay.
She has babies that she didn't push out. And then she doesn't want to get married. What did you feel about that?
For me, that was...
Woman daddy? I'm telling you, girl daddy.
Are you a woman hater, guys? And I'm beginning to doubt your credentials now. Why?
That for me was a twist. You know, because I've always known, like, I've never seen anywhere. I've never come across, even when you watch her on the red carpet, I've never seen her beside a man. So, like...
But in the book, she used to date.
Yeah, she did. So that for me, like, I didn't know... Actually, when I was reading, I kept on waiting to see at the point where she settled down and she had these children, because she introduces her kids very early in the book, but I did not see, and she introduces this man towards the end, the nameless guy, who she says that she's going to talk about it without not talking about it. I don't know, she's entitled to not wanting to get married. I believe there are people who choose not to want to get married, and that's okay for them. I wished I'd have wanted to see if, say for instance, she chose to get married, how it would have panned out for her differently, because she's a very opinionated woman, and that's how that would have played out in the family setup. But the fact that she made a happy dance breaking up with a guy, I was like, okay, that I agree with you a bit. So it's like, how do you do a happy dance for breaking up? And you're saying that the guy was all these fantastic things that you're looking for in a man, and then you choose because you don't want to get married. So then you become partners.
Yes,
then that's
not partners. Go like Oprah.
Yeah, Oprah.
You know, the woman who you really adore, look up to. Then do Oprah. She didn't get married, but she's there now. What?
But maybe the guy wanted. Yeah. Maybe the guy wanted marriage.
He did want marriage. They had planned a wedding, and then she broke off the whole wedding and the whole engagement.
And did a happy dance.
That just made me see her like, okay. First, introducing the kids early on, I just kind of felt like you're trying to show us you can have it all. Like, I'm this really big shot Hollywood executive, you know, you all know my shows, my accomplishments, and then look, have kids. And then, of course, she says there's nothing wrong with getting a nanny, but she battled that, yes? But I was like, okay, okay, fine, I'm hearing about your kids, how you feel guilty because you don't, you know, spend more time with them that you want to. So there's all these conversations going on about how she's running her family. And then towards the end of the book, now this man's story comes up. So at that point I said, okay, this man is a problem. There's a problem with this woman first. So is it because if you were not in the position you're in now, which is a millionaire, I mean, say she's a millionaire, right? Would it still be the same? Or do you feel bringing in a man kind of takes away?
Dilutes it in a way.
Something, I kind of got that feeling like having a man into this mix, I feel complete. I live next to my family, my sisters, my mom, you know, it's the same hood. My kids are happy, here we are. If I bring in a man,
does it like
feel like latching on to my success?
Almost, but almost, she made it sound like she didn't have time for anything.
For drama in a relationship.
Yes. But when she mentioned that Christina Yang in Grey's Anatomy was kind of like her muse, I understood where she was coming from. Because Christina was so driven, surgery was her husband, she was so brash, so honest, so, you know, I'm a woman, hear me roar. So, and Shonda wrote that character. So I think there's a part of her that's Christina Young. And if you picture Christina Young, she had no time for men. So I think her characters, even when she speaks, sorry, I watched her TED talk. I know I was not supposed to do that for last time. But when she speaks, you hear Olivia Pope, as in very clearly, like the cadence of her speech. You hear Christina Young, you hear, Dr. Gray. So she's writing parts of herself into her shows.
Yeah.
And her characters are so strange.
Yes.
So you can imagine what kind of person she is.
Yes.
But again, through her characters, Meredith is a family woman.
Yeah.
She has kids. She has 3 kids.
She has 3 kids.
So I was like,
But no husband.
Yeah, but the husband died later on. I mean, after 12 seasons, then the husband dies. But you see, even all this time, Meredith is, if you are a Grace fan like I am, you know where she is now. She's looking for love.
Yeah.
So she's not also opposed to the idea of men in her life. It's just that, for me, I kind of just wished that the narrative changed, because I'd have wanted to see from a young woman, then how do you have it all?
Yeah.
You have a powerful, like a very big, a successful career, you have kids and a marriage.
Yeah.
That wasn't, and in the way she put it, it's like, marriage is just
she
not for me.
trivialized it
She
a
really,
lot.
that's the only, actually now that you ask, the thing that I didn't like about the book is how she put it out there about her relationship and the fact that she just chooses not to want to get married.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, she can do
I
her.
thought she struggled actually with that bit.
Yeah.
So she was trying to paint, because already all along we've seen her like, oh, this woman's strong, she works so hard. She goes to work, she even sleeps there at times, she's trying
Her kids learn how to walk there and everything.
As in, so she's painted, man, you have this portrait.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that bringing in a man, she imagines we'll see her as a weakling. And I don't know why.
Oh wow.
Why she has that
I didn't
fear,
think
like why
about
she
it
hasn't
that way.
said yes to a wholesome relationship. That is what I didn't think she answered.
I found like she doesn't want to compromise. She's compromised for her kids because she went and adopted them, or by surrogacy or whatever. She wanted the kids, she went and got them.
Yeah.
That was compromise for her family. Now a man, in addition, she's like, I don't have space in this like portrait I've created for somebody to be photobombing me, asking for their dinner at 6 p.m. or whatever it was. And another thing she said was the thing about saying no. She couldn't say no. And Oprah said this before, that guys would come and ask her for money, for diamonds, whatever, she'd say yes.
Yeah.
So as women again, the whole no is a complete sentence, they say, but it's the hardest sentence to ever come out of your mouth.
Yeah, the courage to say no.
Did you identify?
No. I say no a lot. My favorite word.
You say no a lot.
I struggle with saying no.
To say no to things I do not want to be a part of. No.
No, like somebody asking
for
for money.
But it wasn't like that. I mean, I wasn't born this way. It's obviously been a journey. But you get to a point where you're like, no.
I'm not able to do that.
I'm not boarding.
No.
I find it so hard to say no, so I identify so hard. I just go around in circles like, maybe I'll try, which is yes, No, go ahead, Yvonne.
No. Honestly, I also related a lot with saying no, like that bit because I struggle saying no. Half the time, I think it's because I put the emotions of the other person ahead of mine, and I don't want to hurt them, and I don't want them to think, the things that the way she describes in the book, like I don't want them to think that I am, like I'm being mean.
Yeah, selfish.
So I will go around it, and eventually I'll be like, I'm so sorry, I couldn't make it, or as in it's not. So for me, another takeout was, just say no. Then let's see if the sun will stop shining.
We'll fall on your head.
We'll see if we'll be able to take it beyond. But it was a good takeout for me, that sometimes saying no even relieves you of some just unwanted bad burdens. It's like I said no, and then it's like, oh, okay, and people move on.
Yeah. They do. So
and then you also find that people don't carry you as you think. It's all in your head.
They don't take advantage of you.
Yeah.
But it was a process for her, like getting to that place of saying no and standing up for herself.
It made me question.
Yeah.
You're working in TV, okay? So you have all of these things pulling at you. So you have the executives at ABC.
Yeah.
Then you have, of course, the demand, because they know the viewers want, so they're trying to control even the script at times. And I like that she was very clear in her head that
What she wanted and what she
yes,
didn't
I have
want.
executive control over this story. So they got her on that premise. She became so powerful that you could not touch her stories. So that is A1, like, oh, a woman who is having her way in Hollywood. But if you're doing all of that and you know it's just wild in television, where you actually have to say or you're told no a million times. You either say it or you hear it. So and then now reading that she found it hard to say no, I could not relate based on what she does. No, it was.
No, the thing that's probably missing from the book is how did she end up being allowed to write Grey's Anatomy? Like the jump from, I think, writing Princess Diaries to TV, that bit there maybe would explain to us bits of her character that got her there and were also holding her back. Because I'm like, she's shy, she's introverted, she's like executive director of these huge shows, and yet she can't say no.
What I think
shout
that,
at people.
okay, so for me, to that,
You cannot be Shonda Rhimes when you're shouting. Doing those shows.
I can kind of understand
but
that.
you see,
It's
it's her creative mind. Okay, so I work in a creative industry. Sometimes you best think when you're hidden somewhere. Okay, so how I saw it from her is, and even she alluded at some point that she was like top of her class. She did like really well in school, and she studied film and production. Therefore, there must have been something outstanding about her work that probably spoke about it. That's how I saw it, because if you think about the fact that she said when she finished writing season 1 of Grey's Anatomy, she didn't think 10 years later there'd be another one. Actually, 3 years. So at that point, maybe I can see her creative mind.
I know
her work probably spoke for herself,
Yeah.
and she didn't have. In fact, she keeps on saying, "I will just write and hide in this corner and stay in this corner. I don't want to interact with people. Let people interact with my work. Let me not be the one to be seen." And I think that's why
her work got her there.
Yeah,
like
her work.
creativity.
Yes, I can see how she got
But
there.
her character was mismatched. Hence the need for the year of yes.
Yes.
Because she's being like such a creative who can create such huge imaginary worlds. You have to be somewhere in like a dark corner. You can't just be doing that randomly. So I think she was used to her creative space being personal and really not directing people to, not interacting now with the final product.
Yeah.
Like laying the track, like she said, and then the train comes over the track and you
She
raise the
said she was
track.
the train. She was the truck.
She became the train at the end.
At the end.
Yeah, now seeing those things.